So this video will cover magnetization of the new Invictor Tactical Warsuit's main weapon. If you haven't got one of these yet, or if you haven't built yours up yet, then you should know that, if I just bring in the instructions here and zoom out, this piece here, number 74, you only get one of it and you need it for the weapon. So you can't do both. I think it is the only part that is shared between the two, but the way it works is it's basically the hinge that then glues into the arm. So what we're going to do is we're going to magnetize this so that you can switch between the two main weapons, and we'll do that today. What we'll need is, we've built our Invictor Tactical Warsuit to this point. I have not glued the waist onto the legs, and I have also not glued, this is piece 74. Oh, so find piece 74 again. There we are. So we've got our Invictor Tactical Warsuit bits. Just going to put him upside down. I also haven't glued the pilot in yet, and the legs, you don't need that. So the first thing we're going to do, we've also got 3 drill bits. We've got a 1mm, a 2mm and a 3mm. So what we're going to do first, and a little file just to make things easier. So we take piece 74 and I'm going to zoom right in on this. There we are. So we're just going to clip off the lugs. There we are. So all we're doing is cutting that flush. Now we've already got, we're going to drill a 1mm hole. Just taking the hole that's there and drill a 1mm hole as straight as we can. There we are. So the 1mm hole, you can even go smaller if you've got a smaller drill bit. I just find I always break the smaller drill bits. That is our guide hole. Next, we swap to our 2mm bit. We're just going to very carefully drill. There we go. In piece 74. But so at this point I forgot to refix my mic, so I'm just post fixing this. So this is just a 3mm drill bit and a cut on my finger. So what you do is drill it out the same way you've done before. The 3mm drill bit's a bit harder, at least that one is, because the turns are so big. But drill it out as you would normally drill a hole, file it down a little bit, and then you're done. And so we've got our 3mm hole and our little round file, and all we want to do is sort of just get the hole nice and clean, because we're going to be putting our magnets in here. So there you go. That is piece 74 with a hole drilled all the way through, 3mm. And now you can see we've got our stack of 3mm magnets, and all we're going to do, if I get my fat finger out of the way, is push those through and pull it off, and there you go. So you can see that that is going to give us a lovely little magnetized piece. So what we want to do now is glue those in place. To do that, we're going to take a 2mm drill bit and poke our magnets out again. So these are 3mm. I'll move these right up close so you can get a good look and try to focus. There. 3mm by 1mm magnets that I got off Amazon. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description for them. That link will be an affiliate link, so I do get a kickback if you use them. I get all my magnets off Amazon. They're relatively cheap and you can buy pretty much every size you want. So what we're going to do to this is inevitably end up gluing myself to something, because it's the only real way I can work. So I need to bring the focus back out. I want to work right here. Alright, focus. There, is that focused? Oh, such a narrow focal window. Right. Super glue is one of those things where less really is more. It doesn't matter what way you do this piece. Not at first. And if you keep it moving around your fingers, hopefully none of the glue will stick to you. But that is now well and truly glued in place. So the next step is to glue our magnets into 80 and 81. Pieces 80 and 81, just to show you what you need to do here. So let's get on with that. I'm just going to clip those out of the sprue and then we'll get those into the shot. So there's one of the pieces. I don't know if it's 80 or 81 or whatever one. There's the other one. So what we want to do now is make sure that our holes are deep enough to swallow an entire magnet, because if it's not flush against that, then it'll cause problems. So if I put the magnet in, right, no glue on this yet, you can see that no matter how hard I push it, it's not quite flush. There's a piece of the magnet sticking out. That will cause problems. So what we want to do now is just, so we should be able to wedge this out, because it is literally just, there we go. If you use something metal to try to pry at it, it usually comes out. So what we're going to need to do now is try to deepen the hole with our 3mm drill bit. It's not going to take much, but we do want to make sure that when we put the magnet in and press it in, okay, that's better. See the way that's flush? So we need to do that to our other side as well, and I'll show you in a minute why this is very important. It doesn't seem like much, but the tolerances here are very, very fine. So I'm just drilling out the other one. Put the magnet in. Yeah, so you can see on this one that it goes flush. That's what we need. Oops. So what we're going to do now is glue these magnets in. So good tip, take your magnet stack, stick it onto your masterpiece. Remember, this is the one everything has to match up to, because it's the one that's getting glued to the model. Everything else is going to stick to that. So then it doesn't matter which way round at the minute we do this, as long as we're consistent between the weapons. Okay, so if you master your magnet stack like this for both halves, then what we can do is know that we've got the magnets the right way around. So start off with it stuck to one side and apply a tiny bit of super glue. Just get a bit, oh, that's far too much. Wipe it away with my thumb before it sticks to anything. Take our magnet, push it into the hole, and slide it off. I think I've got two in there, yeah. And then push that in. We want to make sure this is flush. So that, as you can see, is fairly flush. That's what we want. Next we take our other half, and what we're going to do now is swap the magnets over to the other side, because that means we've reversed the polarity for the other side, which is what we want. And this time we're going to put the tiniest drop of glue on the top of the magnet, because this way is usually a bit easier because you can measure it out a bit more. Might not be enough. You don't need very much at all. Super glue is one of those things where it is less is more. So just push that in. Let the glue chooch for a second. We appear to have got an extra magnet stuck. Yes, I know, come off. There we go. So, now if we take our 2 halves of our gun, which as you can see is totally not cleaned up or anything yet, get rid of our magnets off that, we can drop that in there and we've got our perfect. Okay, here's a lesson why it's important to make sure everything is flush before you glue the magnets in, because I didn't on this one. I was trying to take a shortcut. I forgot to broaden the hole or deepen the hole. I've glued this one in, same magnet polarity, but when I go to put that in, it forces them apart. So I'm going to have a job of removing magnets that I have glued in. There you go, look at that. Because I didn't deepen the hole. So learn from my mistakes. I tried to rush it, I wasn't paying attention and I forgot, and it is literally only a fraction of a millimeter proud, and I've tried knives and everything and I can't get it out again, so I'm going to keep trying to get it out. Problem is super glue is very gluey, so don't do what I just did. Okay, here's a quick tip on how to get a magnet out. So as you can see, I've tried taking this magnet out, filing out, it's just no good. So what I want to do, this is my last resort, is you drill a small hole. This is a 1mm drill bit, so this is a small hole as close as I can to the magnet. And it'll pop out with the drill bit, as long as you haven't used too much glue. So there he is, our Invictor Tactical Warsuit. With, if I don't get in the way of the camera, I'm being gentle, the glue's still not fully set here, so. And he's not glued like that, so. But we can swap back and forth between our 2 primary weapons just by adding, so 4 plus 2 plus 2 is 8, so that's 8 3x1mm magnets, and that's all it took to magnetize this bad boy so we can use both the pieces. Anyway, hope this video's helped you. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that gubbins, blah de blah. If you've made it this far, thanks very much for watching. There's another couple of videos there you can click on. You can click on the subscribe button if you want to, like the video if you want to, stick a comment down if you've anything to say, and in the meantime, happy wargaming, and I'll see you next time.